There it is. It's a beautiful sound. Well, I guess we can talk. We start with talking about our friend Bob Caudle, who left us on Monday. At least that was the announcement that came down. Bob Caudle, who was the signature announcer for World Championship Wrestling back before it was World Championship Wrestling, when it was just Jim Crockett Promotions. And we had Bob Caudle for all of those years. I would over a period of time. I don't really get into this whole thing about a part of my childhood is dead. You know, when stuff like that happens, you know, like Pee Wee Herman dies. I don't really get into that because people kind of. First of all, you and I, our parents were divorced anyway, so our childhood was kind of fucked from the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
childhood. What the hell are you talking about? What childhood?
There was but people just they get old, hopefully, and then they pass away, and that's just what happens. But it was, it's very sad. I feel terrible for his family. He lived a very long and happy life, and he made a lot of people happy. And I hope at the conventions and over a period of time, there were a number of people, and I think there were, who came up to him and said that he meant a lot to them, and he really was a big part of their childhood. And I mean, we've talked about in this show a lot. The reason that wrestling sticks with people into their adulthood is because a lot of times it is a memory that you share with a friend or somebody in your family, whether it was your father, your grandfather, your mother, whoever. Maybe you went to the matches with that person and you made memories with them, and that's something that you kind of chased your entire life. And some people even take their kids to the matches and watch wrestling with their kids, and it's something that they pass on. And Bob Caudle was certainly a part of that. I was telling Bryant before we got started that we interviewed him a couple times on the Brad and Britt show on WZTK. And both times he was very surprised that the clips of him were able to be very easily accessed. I don't know if anybody really told him what YouTube was. And I said, you got to get somebody to sit down with you and show you some of this, because there's thousands of hours of you on YouTube, and people watch this stuff all the time and they love it. They love going back, and they love you interviewing all these stars and calling these matches and stuff. And we really, that's one of the great things about the internet, as AI threatens to tear apart the very fabric of our society. One of the great things about the internet is we can very easily, at any point in time, as long as you have something that'll connect to the internet, you can watch something from 1983 or something from 1986 or something from 1987, and it might remind you of those good old days and Jim Crockett Promotions and the fun times you had, and really one of the great times in the history of professional wrestling. All that stuff has been preserved, and Bob Caudle was a big part of that. I know he was a big part of your childhood as well, Brian.
Absolutely. I told somebody the other day, he's definitely my voice of wrestling. Anytime, I'd say Shivani's right up there with him at this point in my life. But as growing up, getting into wrestling and getting to the point where I am now, it's Bob Caudle.
Yeah.
No, just no questions asked. I mean, talk about Gordon Soley and everybody, but I just didn't really have access to Gordon Soley for a lot of my childhood and growing up and all of it. And that's why I didn't know about Gordon Soley till after Bob Caudle. So, you and I have met a lot of people, in our WrestleCades and our conventions and matches and so forth, and taking pictures and sat down and talked to people and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you what, man, the two people that I think that stand out, probably, I'm not gonna sit here and say they're top of the heap, but they're right up there, are those two brief encounters we had, just a brief handshake and tell them how much we love them and appreciate them, was Bob Caudle and Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did that when we did it.
It feels like that's exactly what it should have been. It should have been like 5 seconds. You're awesome. I love you. shake your hand. That's all. And especially like when you shook Terry Funk's hand, he said, "I just want to know what it was like to shake the hand of a legend." That's what you said. I remember that. That's been 15 years ago. I remember that like it just happened yesterday.
You're the man.
And Terry was very gracious and very happy. Nobody's ever had a bad fan interaction with Terry Funk ever.
Right.
And yeah, it was super cool just to do that, just to be able to tell those guys. And I hope that's something that those people took with them. I know as I became like a really smart fan, and I know everything there is to know about pro wrestling, I would listen to these people talk about Memphis a lot and research pro wrestling. And certainly to them, Bob Caudle to us was what Lance Russell was to them in Memphis.
Sure.
And I'm not going to put one ahead of the other. It just I don't, I'm not going to put one ahead of the other because it just depends on where you grew up. If you grew up in the Carolinas, you grew up in Virginia, and you were with, it would be impossible. I go back and I listen to both of those men, and there's that's the beauty of YouTube, is there's thousands of hours of that stuff. And now that we've been in broadcasting for a long time, you can see that not only were these guys great hosts, they were great broadcasters. They were really, really good broadcasters. They were very good at what they did.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, Bob was what, a weatherman? Is that what he was at RAL? Is that okay? Yeah, and so they knew.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, they knew broadcast. Well, he knew broadcasting like that. So I mean, he brought that into the game when he came into wrestling, and if I'm not mistaken, and you can back me up on this, you may know more about it really than I do, but it seems like I remember hearing that they used to kind of rib him at RAL about his wrestling gig kind of thing. I don't know. It seemed like I remember hearing something about that, like some of his colleagues.
Yeah. They used to get it was kind of similar to Memphis, because Memphis used to have those ridiculous ratings with their wrestling show, and it was like moon landing ratings or whatever you want to call it. And when Bob was on that 6 o'clock news, I think he was on with was it Bobby Batista and Bob DeBartoleben and that crew, and they used to get just sick ratings on Channel 5 for the news. It was insane ratings on Channel 5. But I'm sure they laughed at him until they saw some of the paychecks, and then they were like, "Well, maybe we won't laugh at Bob so much." So yeah, it was. He did, but now, and I also want to point this out, because you're seeing some of this, and I want to clarify this a little bit. Yes, Bob worked for Jesse Helms, and the two people that you're listening to right now hate Jesse Helms as much as any person could possibly hate Jesse Helms. It's not really even all these years later, if they dug him up, I'd like to take a piss on Jesse Helms. If somehow possible they would deposit that body in my front yard, I'd be happy to take a piss on Jesse Helms. It'd be perfectly fine. But I had this fight with Bixenspan one time because they kept saying that he was a policy advisor for Jesse Helms. And I'm like, I don't think that's accurate. I think that what Bob Caudle did was he ran the Raleigh office for Senator Helms. So if some little old lady wasn't getting her Social Security check, or if somebody was having trouble with a passport, that was the kind of thing that Bob did. I can tell you the people who were doing the policy advising for Jesse Helms. One of them was Carter Wren. One of them was James Meredith, who was the first, I think, African-American ever admitted to the University of Mississippi. So you try to figure that one out.
Yeah.
But Bob was not a part of all of the extremely hateful things that Jesse Helms was doing. Like I said, I think he was trying to find like Social Security checks and shit like that, and trying to get people like if kids were going to be nominated for the Air Force Academy or shit like that. I think that's what Bob Caudle was doing, as far as I understand and what I know.
And see, I think that's what he was really built to do. I could see Bob Caudle doing something like that. Yeah. He's kind of like the human resource, the liaison kind of guy, the shake your hand, right. How you doing kind of guy. He's not the out there cut your throat kind of political person.
At least it's amazing, and I don't even know if this. No, I don't think he will, and that kind of hurts my feelings. And in a way, it's kind of poetic justice that New Jack clip is how a lot of Americans, a lot of people who are wrestling fans know Bob Caudle from. That is kind of ironic to think that a guy who associated and rubbed shoulders with Jesse Helms would be a part of that New Jack clip from Smoky Mountain, where Bob looks absolutely horrified. And well, he should. But no, I don't even know if this stuff even exists in YouTube land. But if you go back to the 80s and look at some of the stuff that Senator Jesse Helms was saying on the floor of the United States Senate, you'd be appalled. And there's probably some people who are under the age of 30 who wouldn't even believe it. Back when the AIDS epidemic was running rampant throughout America.
Yes.
Yes. There was, people find this hard to believe, but it's true. There was a mainstream opinion in America. It wasn't like, and it was fairly vocal. There were again, it was a pretty mainstream opinion among mostly white heterosexuals that, yeah, I don't think we're going to help these guys out. They did it to themselves. Go ahead and just let them die. That was not an unusual or rare thing. Am I correct in saying that, Brian?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
I mean, that was and some people thought, hey, this is just God's punishment.
I heard that one quite a bit.
A lot. And then, why are we going to have government funds directed to these people? If they would just stop doing what they're doing, then there was a lot of that. And anytime there would be money that was to be appropriated to help fight this health crisis, Jesse Helms would stand up on the Senate floor and he would read disgusting things about stuff that was happening in bathhouses in San Francisco. Almost as if Senator Helms was turned on by this, almost as if he got some sort of, I don't know, gratification from it. It's very, very, very odd, very, very strange.
Very strange. And just let's remember that back then it was a little bit harder to dig up information than it is to like Google shit now. So he had to do some digging. You know what I'm saying?
He might have had to go to like a rest stop and tap his foot 3 times at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe.
When there was a push to pass the MLK holiday in the United States Senate, and finally it was signed into law, I think around 1983 under Ronald Wilson Reagan. Jesse Helms was adamantly opposed to it. Adamantly. And it wasn't because he didn't like black people, Brian. Some of his best friends were black. It was because, of course, Dr. King was a communist and a philanderer and all this stuff. The night before they were going to vote in the United States Senate on the MLK holiday, Jesse Helms put a packet of information from the FBI in every senator's office, and it was all the regular bullshit about communism and about him sleeping around and about MLK sleeping around on his wife and so on and so on and so on. One of the senators, the one from New York, and I can't remember who the guy's name now, he stomped on that packet in the United States Senate. He stomped on it on the Senate floor before they voted. So if Bob Caudle was part of that, you would hear the two of us denouncing him very loudly right now, because Jesse Helms did a lot to destroy the image of North Carolina back during the 80s, especially. It was really awful to kind of, they thought we were a bunch of ignorant fucks because of this guy, because of this piece of shit. And then eventually, I don't know, as time went on, he became somewhat of a star fucker, and then Bono talked him into giving the guys with AIDS a couple of dollars, and then Jesse Helms kind of repented from that stuff later on. Yeah, that was how that worked.
Yeah.
But so, again, I don't think Bob Caudle had any. I don't think he was going, hey, go to the Senate floor and talk about the gays. I don't think that happened. I don't believe. Oh, man. I believe it was 100% constituent services. I don't believe. See, this is where my good friend Brad. When Brad Krantz moved here to North Carolina, he started playing the Jesse Helms clips on the radio, which infuriated him to some people. And some people thought, oh, Jesus Christ, the guy really sounds like that. He does make us sound like a bunch of flaming fucking rednecks. Oh, I get it now. I don't believe that there was ever a conversation where, hey, Bob, I want to say something about the gays tomorrow. You got anything for me? Well, I'll tell you, Jesse. I don't think, I don't believe that conversation ever took place.
Oh, man. Oh.
I'll tell you something, Jesse. We don't need an MLK holiday. That's right, Bob. We don't need another one. Gosh, there was a lot of stuff back then.
Oh God.
We do the show for ourselves. If somehow you enjoy it, that's great.
You know,
that's
all that matters.
It warms my heart. We do the show for us. We don't do. They also objected that there was always a stair step of objections to the MLK holiday was that it was going to cost, we don't need another holiday. We already have enough holidays, and it's going to the federal government's going to spend X amount. There was that one. And then one of my favorites was, it should be a civil rights holiday. It shouldn't be named after one guy. I mean, one guy didn't get everything done. I'm like, okay. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand as you guys have tried to erase Rosa Parks from the history books that more than one person.
Rosa who?
It took forever. It took forever for people to actually take, the holiday. This is odd. People will forget this as well. Early 90s, Arizona lost a Super Bowl because they would not acknowledge the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. They lost it,
Hey, man.
Today they probably would have gotten 7 more Super Bowls if they would do something. It would have been a lot more. I salute the great state of Arizona, one of my favorite places. One of the things about Bob Caudle and why he was such a good announcer is he never tried to put himself over. Not a single time did Bob Caudle try to put himself over.
Ever.
He always was servicing the athletes that were in the ring. He always treated it super. I mean, he had fun and he was laughing sometimes about stuff because people would act silly.
But it was never about him.
It was difficult. No, it was never. And sometimes I don't know how he kept it together. You go back and look at some of that shit he did when Roddy Piper was trying to break him up and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't see how. I don't get it. I don't see how he kept it together. But he was a consummate he was one of those broadcasters you could put in any situation and he would have been fantastic. Yeah. You put him together at you put him together like at a remote for some food drive, he kills it. You put him together like doing a high school football game, he kills it. You put him together like he's do a stand-up over here, give me 45 seconds on this murder scene downtown, Bob. And Bob would just he's just one of those, they're just some guys that you've met in broadcasting. You just plug them in and they're killer. They can do whatever it takes for them to do. It doesn't matter whether it's a light piece, a heavy piece, 30 seconds, 4 minutes. He could do whatever needed to be done. And he was that kind of a broadcaster. And people will never really, I don't know if they'll ever really see how important he was to the promotion after all those years, because it's impossible in your mind to subtract him from that. He was such an integral part of what went on. You can't imagine him not being the guy, right?
As you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking about, watching him as a kid. And one of the reasons I think I became maybe attracted to wrestling was him calling those matches and me, and not just calling the matches, but conducting the interviews and being more of like we're talking earlier, like more of a journalist approach about it, taking more of a journalistic approach with it, with the wrestlers, instead of overhyping it, kind of like like the WWE guys pretty much nowadays, just overhyping everything, and just, I don't know, he was just more believable. You could definitely see the newscaster part of him come out in those episodes, the Mid-Atlantic episodes. And I just think that, again, that's why I adore the man so much, is because of just the way he delivered everything when he was calling those matches. Like I said, and it was just he made it believable for me. He really did.
When you go back and look at it now, knowing what you know, though, you can see when he's interviewing the heels versus the baby faces, he's got a different approach. He does approach those guys a little bit differently, and it's kind of subtle. It's not, as a fan, it's not something you would notice, but it makes a difference in how you perceive those guys. And like, yeah, I'm definitely going to hate this guy, and yeah, I'm definitely going to cheer this guy.
Yeah, I know. And here's another thing about Bob too, and that's a good point. That's what reminds me of this, and I think you remember this too. The way he would talking about that, like when he would like scold the heels, like for something they may have done. Like,
yes.
like the grandfathery type scolding, and the heels were always like, they almost wanted to go, "I'm sorry, Uncle Bob," but they didn't, and they played off of it pretty well. But none of them ever like wanted to kill him or anything like that. But he was just like, "I can't believe, Roddy Piper, I can't believe you came in here with that towel and threw it around Wahoo's face and took that chair. Why did you do that, Roddy?"
I think, and also you have to think about like the way he carried David Crockett. David Crockett was a terrible announcer. David Crockett was like really bad.
To do that in itself, man.
When they put him together, like they put Bob together with Tony Schiavone after all those years with Crockett, you got to be thinking, "Oh my God, this is like going from hell to heaven. This is fantastic. This young guy, he gets it. He knows how to broadcast. I mean, oh my God, this is like so much better."
Yeah, that was you maybe have seen some of the tributes and maybe some of the things that people have said online about Bob last few days, and I saw a little bit of Jim Ross talking about him, and he was just gushing over Bob Caudle, man. And that, now I don't know, I don't want to say I'm surprised at it, but I maybe I am a little bit surprised at as much gushing as he did over Bob. I mean, of course you're going to say nice things about him and stuff like that, but he was really talking him up, and that made me feel good, man. I'm glad that even old Ross, saw what everybody else sees in Bob Caudle.
Now, do you think the miracle shot is finally going to happen, and maybe this year they'll put him in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Well, it's about par for the course that they do that, but yeah, I'll hope so, man. I mean, I hope this is the catalyst for it, for God's sake. But
it would be the very least that they could do.
The least, man. Come on.
And Schiavone has said, and I don't know if this is bravado, but it's probably true. He said he wouldn't go in the Hall of Fame if Bob Caudle's not in there first. He said that before.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good thing to. I forgot he said that. I don't know. I can maybe see Tony. Like you said, it could be just bravado, but I could also see him, holding his word on it. But that's interesting.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing Tony in about 9 days or so, and maybe we can talk to him a little bit about Bob Caudle. That'll be part of his remembrance coming on Friday afternoon, as part of WrestleCade. So it'll be. I'm sure there'll be some remembrances there. I mean, going for Tony Schiavone to be a young guy and to be able to work with Bob Caudle must have been an absolute clinic. It must have been just a master class to be able to study and watch what Bob did for a few years.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Tony grew up in the Mid-Atlantic area, so he would have know exactly who Bob Caudle is, and probably in the position he was in, I would venture to say as much he adored him as much as we did, if not more.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, man,
100%.
I'm sure he was just thrilled to be in that position.
Yeah, he grew up in Roanoke in the New River Valley area, and he would travel down to Greensboro pretty frequently for the matches. And he married that awful person from Greensboro. So, oh, sorry, are we still live? I apologize.
No. Cut.
We're live, pal. Yeah, I can't. I can't think about Bob Caudle, and I can't think about Mid-Atlantic Wrestling without smiling. I mean, it was something you could depend on. It was always going to be there. It was always going to be there on Saturday afternoon. It was always going to be there on Sunday afternoon. And you always wanted to see what was going on with the Midnights and the Rock and Roll. You wanted to see what was going on with the Russians, and you wanted to see, it was always that stuff. And he was always, I would say, for those people who grew up in Memphis, he was exactly what Lance Russell was for that crowd in Memphis. And he was very much, he was the grandfatherly type guy. He was your entree into this stuff. He would always keep things above board. The thing about Lance was he would really like when people would go too far, he'd be like, come on now. He would always do that. If you've ever seen those interviews, someone, now come on. He would, if you just crossed too many lines, Lance had it and he had to call you out. You were just going too far with stuff.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
one of the great.
Yeah.
One of the great angles in Memphis history is when they broke Jeff Jarrett into the territory. He'd been wrestling and refereeing and stuff, and it's when Buddy Landell and Bill they went after him, and they started beating the shit out of Jeff Jarrett after a match because he's a referee, and they started just killing him. So Jarrett comes out to defend him, and they put the thumb in his eye, and it was fairly well known that Jarrett only had one good eye, so they tried to take out his one good eye. And then for the next 60 minutes, we go through the machinations of, well, now Lawler has been banned from the territory because he lost a loser leaves town match, so he can't come in and help. But Dutch Mantell is going to help, and he's going to get revenge against these guys. And they put together this shoebox thing or something to get Jerry Lawler on the air by telephone, and Lawler goes, I'm coming back to help Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. I don't give a shit if you guys, you can take me to court, you can find me, but I'm going to be there on Monday night. And Lance Russell is so disgusted at the heels for this entire hour. He is just so appalled at their behavior. They're going after a kid just like a year out of high school. I can't believe this. It's really moral outrage.
That's funny. Yeah. But anytime, you're right, man. Anytime I've ever heard Lance Russell, he totally reminds me of Bob Caudle. I mean, it's just
absolutely
so many similarities.
All right. We should talk about some All Elite Wrestling, because we haven't talked about All Elite Wrestling as much as we should have, because they just had a double dose of All Elite tonight. Now, how much of Blood and Guts did you see?
Just a little bit. I never went back and watched it.
I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought, if you go into the thing and they call it Blood and Guts and you know what it's going to be, okay, and we're doing that. So I thought, for what it was, I thought they really hit the mark, and I understand the ratings were pretty good for it. I think they had I thought they had a pretty good crowd for it. What I saw at the Greensboro Coliseum, and I know that there was some thought, even we're still getting used to the idea of these women in these matches with blood all over them and stuff. And I know Sky Blue was really bloody from the whole situation. But I got to say, even as a hardcore wrestling fan and a person who is well into his 50s, I wasn't quite as appalled by this as maybe I might have been at a previous time. I was kind of okay with it.
Yeah, I get it. Now I did see, some clips and that sort of thing. I from it, but I didn't sit down and watch it from beginning to end or anything like that. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I guess with me, if it's done correctly, or if it's done, I don't know, moderately, is that the word? If it's done moderately,
yeah.
I can handle it. I think I think it has a purpose. I really do. I mean, it is, say what you want, but I don't know. I just, sometimes, as much as I loved ECW, sometimes that got a little just, over the top, and it was just kind of silly almost. And and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not denouncing ECW. I liked it as much as anybody, but yeah, I think it served a purpose. And when it's called Blood and Guts, for crying out loud, what do you expect, for one thing? And I just don't think they overdid it, from what I could tell, so I think it was fine. you know, and I'll say it again, man. As much crap as we talk about AEW, when they put on a show, when they put on some sort of spectacle, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be good. You know, whether it's a PLE or some blood and guts thing for Dynamite, you know, something like that, then it's usually pretty good. It's usually pretty good. So I'm not surprised that it was the show that it was. So maybe I do need to go back and watch it now that I'm sitting here talking about it like that.
I think even the first match was almost the entire first hour. I mean, the women's match.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that the Princess Mercedes Moné did participate in it, but she came in. She didn't get as bloody as everybody else and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty entertaining, and I thought they did what they wanted to do, and it gave people a chance to shine in that situation. Yeah, I thought the evening went really about as well as you could have imagined for that deal. So I think they came out of that with a lot of momentum, and that was going into tonight's big show.
Yeah. You know, I might even go as far as to say that it could maybe hurt what is it we got coming up?
War Games?
No.
Full Gear.
Full Gear, yes. It may have hurt Full Gear in the fact that it's Full Gear seems like it's got to live up to a lot to be as impactful or whatever or entertaining, I guess, as Blood and Guts was, because I don't know that I haven't seen any matches on Full Gear that really light my fire, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't, but it'll probably turn out to be a great pay-per-view, great PLE like they normally are, but it's just on, you know, looking at it on paper, nothing just really stands out to me this time. But I don't know. I could be proven wrong easily.
AEW's Full Gear is presented by DC, which stands for Dirty Cocks. And I know you're wondering, how did they get a marketing budget? I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know. Who knows?
They're going forward with, it looks like, the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery and all that intellectual property. And the 3 big bidders so far are going to be Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast. Those are your 3 big ones. So you try to figure out how that works. So if Netflix gets Warner Brothers Discovery and all that stuff, then they've got a contract with AEW, but they also have Raw on Monday nights, and they also have the PLEs around the world. So I don't know how that works out.
Conflict of interest?
I don't know if they would then seek to kick AEW out of the nest. I don't know. I would almost bet that the TKO guys would say, you know, if they get a vote, get rid of those sumbitches. Paramount is the more likely scenario. I saw that today in the Wall Street Journal. They're saying Paramount would be logically the ones who would buy it, but TKO has a contract with Paramount Plus as well. So how does that work? Meanwhile, Comcast has some relationship with the WWE, and they're going to have WWE Saturday Night's Main Events continuing on Peacock. Most likely they'll be getting rid of the WWE library very, very soon, and I'm surprised that deal hasn't already been announced. But maybe the Peacock NBC thing makes a little more sense, and if it does, would we ever see AEW on NBC network television? That would be kind of weird, right?
Yeah, that would be weird. I don't know about that. I don't see that happening, but
could you see a scenario maybe where Saturday Night's Main Event is phased out for WWE and they bring AEW in?
I mean, they could. I mean, if it's some sort of benefit to them financially, of course they would.
I know there was some talk about WBD taking a financial stake in AEW, and I don't think that ever happened, but it might make sense for one of those other companies to have a financial stake in All Elite Wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah.
To be decided. I'm still I'm still obsessed with AI destroying our economy, by the way, in case you were wondering from our last conversation.
That's valid. That's fair.
I'm not even talking about the societal part of it, which is pretty bad. I'm talking about it ruining our economy.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's going to happen. I'll give you this example. Let's say, Chat GPT. You're familiar with Chat GPT.
Oh, yes.
It is. You have the conversation, all that stuff. So this guy, Sam Altman, who runs OpenAI, he came up with Chat GPT, and he's burned through tens of billions of dollars. And what he has there is a pretty decent search engine that tells people how to kill themselves. That's what's happened. So, and if you're thinking, well, maybe there would be some ad revenue, just like Google was able to get ad revenue, but Google spent years and years building up the infrastructure to make sure that they get the ads and put them in the right place. So if you're T-Mobile or your Pizza Hut or your General Motors, and you're like, hey, would you like to advertise on our chat engine that teaches people on how to commit suicide? Sign me up. Why would I not want to have a Chevy Equinox ad running right next to, hey, make sure you get this thickness of rope?
Should that be just a builder supply ad or something?
Yeah,
Home Depot.
Home Depot has all the supplies you need to hang yourself. Oh, right there. For the Granger, for the ones who get it done. See, that's the other thing, is that this Sam Altman guy, he's convinced a lot of people. We'll get back to wrestling in just a moment. He's convinced a lot of people that he's a very bright person, so that they throw just billions and billions and billions of dollars. But there's really no business model. There's like no, hey, I've got a business. Like if you go right now, if you, Bryant, go to the bank and go, I need $15,000 and I'm going to start a hot dog truck. They would be like, we need a business plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hire this many people. I'm going to sell the hot dogs for this month. If I sell this many, I'm going to get this, then the upkeep on. You would have to do all of that. This guy doesn't have to do that.
Wow.
This guy doesn't. He doesn't do that. And they just throw billions of dollars at him. Just throw it at him. Just, here, light it on fire. And then they go, well, where's the profit model? Where's the business model? Oh, it's gonna cure cancer. It's gonna make everybody more productive. It's gonna do all of this stuff. And how? Well, we can't explain that. It's just gonna work that way.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
That's kind of the way of the world right now. Anyway,
as
far as America is concerned.
25 years ago, Webvan will revolutionize how packages are delivered. AEW Dynamite comes on the air with Excalibur welcoming us alongside Bryan Danielson and Tony Schiavone running down tonight's card before throwing it to the ring for the opening contest. It's Bobby Lashley from the Hurt Foundation. I'm going to continue to call him the Hurt Foundation because I think that's funny. I think it's better than the Hurt Syndicate. I don't know.
It is. It's funny.
Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet for the number one spot in a Casino Gauntlet match at Full Gear. Ricochet talks shit to the fans in New England there, saying he's got a Eagles jersey on and saying it's been a while since you guys have won a Super Bowl. I got to say this. I think the Eagles are like 9-2. They're the unhappiest 9-2 team I've ever seen in my life.
That's the Eagles, man.
I've never seen an unhappier 9-2 team ever. Well,
that is prototypical Eagles.
And it's mostly AJ Brown, isn't it? He's mostly the guy that's like just bitching and moaning and crying and everything else.
Seems like it. I mean,
match result: Bobby Lashley defeats Ricochet. He has the number one. He has the number one spot at the Casino Gauntlet match at Full Gear. Samoa Joe backstage with Katsuyori Shibata and said it must feel good for Hangman Page to be a fighting world champion. Joe said he was told if he interferes tonight, he'll lose his AEW world title match this weekend. Joe said Page's whole world of joy and happiness is about to get very different quickly. Page is guilty of crimes and transgressions against the ops, and it'll be at the hands of Shibata. The Young Bucks were backstage watching their highlights of Full Gear when Renee Paquette approaches and asks if they're joining the Don Callis family tonight. Before they can answer, Don Callis walks in, and he does a tremendous job of introducing the Dumb Fucks, who go over in their match. And yes, at the end of it, it is the announcement that the Dumb Fucks are now part of the Don Callis family, which brings, I think, membership up to about 75 or maybe 80.
So they did officially join? Oh, okay.
Yeah. At the end, they got them together and they're in there. Renee, they looked conflicted though. They looked conflicted, if that means anything. Renee Paquette backstage with what we are calling the Babes of Wrath. That's Mina and Tony Storm, who brought up the Sisters of Sin at the second round of the women's tag team title tournament. Cameron said they're fun, exciting. No, the Babes of Wrath are Harley Cameron and that other chick. Sorry, I'm getting my my teams messed up now. I'm not keeping them straight here. It's Willow and it's Harley Cameron. Those are the Babes of Wrath. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I was confused there for a second. Yes.
What are they calling Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa? Aren't
See,
they
that's what I'm
something?
trying. Yeah, that's what threw me off because I thought they were called something too.
The bitch from hell. I don't know what they're called. I don't know. I'm not sure. Back at commentary, Tony Schiavone remembered the legendary Bob Caudle saying being able to stand beside him was one of the great highlights of his life. They give their best wishes to the family. And if there was a Wrestling Hall of Fame for announcers, Bob Caudle should be the first inducted. The graphic followed with a very nice tribute. And again, these are things that happen on AEW television that you won't see on WWE. I don't think you're going to see anything like this on WWE at all.
Nothing like that, no.
It would be, if you dickheads would like to get something together for SmackDown, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, though.
It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt a thing. Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin against Speedball Mike Bailey. I thought this was a really entertaining match. I thought this was a good shot right here.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That one looked like it was going to be good just on paper.
I could probably watch those guys wrestle about 5 times in a row and not get bored by that. Shelton Benjamin, your winner. He gets the number 2 spot at the Casino Gauntlet match at Full Gear. The Death Riders, John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli with Daniel Garcia and Marina Shafir versus Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, which was a pretty fun match. As much as the Death Riders suck every bit of oxygen out of the room.
True. But I did enjoy that match. It wasn't too bad.
It was good. Death Riders defeated Orange Cassidy and Roddy Strong when Moxley submitted Cassidy. They had some sort of story that was being told about Claudio hurting his back, I think at Blood and Guts, and he could only do like a swing and a half. He couldn't do like the 10 swings that he normally does with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Brodito cutting a promo on FTR. They said they're one of the best tag teams in AEW history, but they've never beaten them. Brodito never stops fighting. They'll remain tag team champions when Full Gear is over. Mercedes Moné walking backstage, holding the TBS and interim ROH women's TV titles. Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express are backstage, talked about how they say that money can't buy friendship, but the Bucks have proved him wrong before. Once Josh Alexander took his frustrations out on Michael, knock it off and get off my TV when it became personal. I personally would have thought it was the Ibushi injury. No amount of money will save them from what they thought will do them at Full Gear. Brought to you by DC, which stands for Disgusting Cunts. And how did they get a marketing budget? I'd like DC Comics more than Marvel when I was a kid. I was the weird one.
I think I'm with you, man. I think I was more of a DC guy. I did like some Marvels. I like The Thing and Hulk, of course, but and Spider-Man. But overall, I was Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, all those guys.
Batman was my guy. I loved Batman.
Batman was my guy. Batman was my guy.
The Timeless Love Bombs. Here we go. That's what they're calling them. The Timeless Love Bombs.
That's it. That's what they. Yeah. Okay.
Tony and Mina. I've already got my tickets to pose with Mina at WrestleCade. Where did I go?
Yeah. Well, I will be there. I'll be in line right beside of you for that one. Yes.
She's gonna fall in love with you. I am absolutely convinced she's gonna fall in love with you. She's gonna see that big old tall drink of water from Davie County. And she's gonna go, "You are mine," and then that's it. It's over. Your life changes forever.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa versus Alex Winder and Riho in an AEW women's tag team tournament quarterfinal match, which I thought was okay. And Mina and Tony go over. Mina, Renee Paquette's voice is heard saying she received breaking news from Tony Schiavone that the semifinals teams will meet in a 4-way match at Full Gear. The winners will choose the stipulation for their tournament match. Alicia Atout, by the way, she'll be at WrestleCade as well. That's
Yes.
Mrs. MJF.
Yes.
Backstage.
I'm a little surprised you didn't mention seeing him.
Is he going to be at WrestleCade?
Yes, he is.
I didn't see that in the guest. Well, I got to do that. I got to get insulted by that guy. You know?
Yeah, well, it's set up.
The Don Rickles of wrestling.
The Don Rickles of wrestling.
Backstage with Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis, and Mark Briscoe, who have agreed no physicality, and asked why such high stakes for their pay-per-view match. Seriously, that was the question. Fletcher said there was a clear winner and loser, no excuses, and Briscoe will thank them for joining the family. Fletcher can't wait to see how he'll thrive under a real family. Briscoe told him not to talk about family, and every time he steps in the ring, it's for his family and also his road family, which he won blood and guts last week, having no intention of leaving that behind. Failure is not an option, as Briscoe won't be letting his family down. He'll be making them proud. Okada and Hechicero attacked Briscoe from behind, as Callis said he's going to make Briscoe's kids orphans. Ouch. Yikes. Too soon. I gotta say.
Yeah.
Too soon. Because then he just didn't Mark's wife just have a baby like this year?
Yeah, not too long. If it wasn't this year, it was last year.
I think that's a little baby. Fletcher thanked Okada, Tanada agreeing no physicality, and Okada said he's glad he could help. How Takeshi couldn't. Okada name dropped Okada with a big smile on his face before leaving. Pac. What did you think of the Pac promo?
It was good. I liked it.
I thought I was watching a promo for something they were going to have on HBO Max.
Why is that?
It went dark, and
the way it was filmed and everything.
Yeah, and they had I think they had the hum synthesizer music underneath it, like they do in some of that shit.
Oh yeah.
I thought, geez, Game of Thrones has really gotten fucking dark. I don't know about the new Pac. I'm not real sure because I don't.
He looks a little nerdy. Is it me? He looks a little.
No, that's funny. That would be awesome if you could get him to come to the ring with the Dudley Boys with the glasses and the tape in the middle. Oh, dude, that would be the shit.
The way his hair and all is now, you put some of those tape glasses on, he'd be set right up for that.
When he came out, and I guess it was a blood and guts, and it was a full reset because he had the singlet on, which he never wears. And I'm like, okay, well, this is cool, but I don't know. I guess I wasn't like a huge fan of the bastard Pac character, the bastard Pac character, but there was commitment to that. And I was like, okay, that's what he's doing. And I got to believe that guy so much, it's kind of hard for me to, believe this new thing. Maybe that's where I'm getting a hang up on that.
Yeah, I could see that. This is, I think that's where it gets me too. Like I said, he looks more like just like a kind of a geek now, but I mean that with all the respect that I could have with it, but it just comparatively speaking, from now, like the bastard Pac, it's just totally different looking to me.
If anybody ever, and I'm not like a simp for plastic surgery, but an ear tuck. If there was an ear tuck available to that guy, you would think, maybe an ear tuck for that guy, right?
Yeah, maybe so. If that was such a thing, yes.
Do you know who the sportscaster Andrew Siciliano is? Do you know that guy?
Yes.
Big ass ears, right?
Yes.
Fucking Dish Network, right?
Didn't he used to be on CNN Headlines Sports?
I don't remember him being on CNN. I know he used to do Red Zone, and he's a big Cleveland guy.
Maybe that's something. Okay, but I do know who you're talking about.
They fired him from Red Zone like about 3 years ago for I don't know reason. They got this other, and the other guy's really good too, so I don't hate it.
Ears were too big.
That's what it was. It took him 10 years to figure out that his ears were too big, but once they got, hey, I can put my finger on it now. Seems that would be.
I'll let you go, buddy. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. That's a protected class. I have huge ears. You can't just fire me for that. That's a protected class of human. His ears are too big. Fuck him. Get him out of there.
It's like White Buffalo.
White Buffalo. Nice to see Trump hanging out with MBS, wasn't it? That was a nice little.
Warmed my heart.
Yeah, love the two of them backslapping and smiling. Oh, you guys you're embarrassing my guest with this whole he's murdering journalists thing. Would you stop it?
Well,
he had nothing to do with that. He didn't even know the people that he paid to do that. Come on.
Oh my God. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It's all just like the damn Energizer Bunny, man.
It does. It's like, I wish if you could take the Energizer Bunny and take like a 4-wood and fucking like go after his head and bat that fucker off. Jesus. Yeah, just ask yourself, who really benefited from the death of Jamal Khashoggi? Just ask yourself, who came out ahead on that one? So
I'm not thinking of anybody off the top of my head.
Well, I'm thinking the guy that Trump was backslapping with. I think he probably benefited from it.
Maybe.
I think he probably was the guy that probably benefited from that.
Could be the only one. I don't know.
Maybe. Let me make a list. People who benefited from the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. They all seem to be in the royal family of Saudi Arabia. That's wild.
Funny how that works.
Oh, weird. AEW World's Champion Hangman Adam Page, our new favorite wrestler, against AEW Trios Champion Katsuyori Shibata. Hey, have you heard any stories about ICE making their way to Winston-Salem?
Not to Winston-Salem, no. No,
there's a lot of stories around town in Greensboro. I don't know if any of them are accurate or they're legends and I think they're not even calling themselves ICE, they're calling them Borders and Customs Patrol or something like that.
Whatever.
And I think the Borders Patrol is only supposed to be within 100 miles of like the border.
I don't know if it's Border Patrol. Yes, I get that. Yes.
Here's another thing. I don't know if you know geography very well. The middle of North Carolina is way more than 100 miles from the border. Like it's within 100 miles of the border to Virginia.
I don't even think it's within 100 miles of the border of South Carolina.
It's not. It's not 100 miles for like the border of the Atlantic Ocean. It's not 100 miles. It's
not many borders around here. Not many borders around here at all.
Just Virginia. That's it. And that's not even a state. It's a commonwealth. So it's not even a state.
It's not even a state. It's a commonwealth. Do people that come in from North Carolina, from Virginia, are they immigrants since it's a commonwealth?
Yeah, they are immigrants. As such, deport them, sir. I'm going to send them back there. Virginia just fucked me over on that governor's race. I hate him. Boo. Oh, this guy that they're picked for the Senate to run against Roy Cooper looks like he's about as electable as Mark Robinson. So that's one for our favor.
No,
we got that going for us.
That's what we need. Another one of those guys running.
Yeah, I mean, if he does as well as Robinson does, it's just great. They can't do it. They just can't beat Roy Cooper, and it just kills them. It just kills them. And if I was them, I would be pissed off too. Because here's this guy, Roy Cooper. You can't work up a lather about this. I don't give a fuck what you think. You cannot work up a lather about it. He's not hateable. He's just not. He's like he looks like the guy that you go to the post office like, hey neighbor, what you got for me today? He's that guy.
The most unassuming dude politician especially I think I've ever seen.
Zero charisma. Am I right? Zero, right? I'm sorry. Like, if you told me, well, this guy has had affairs with 50 women, I'd be like, oh, fuck you. No way. He was barely able to seduce one. And I mean, he's like this, and he's like Andy Griffith, Andy Taylor, Mayberry, that guy. And they just must kill them. Like, why can't we tag this guy? Why can't we beat this guy? But they can't. They just can't.
I actually got to meet him one time, man. And he's
great guy, right?
Oh my God, just like you're talking right now, just exactly
100% like 100% guy. Like, hey, I want to hang out and have a beer with this guy and watch hockey because he loves hockey. You know,
Who would have thought?
They can't lay a finger on this dude. They can't, like, when they were doing gambling, when like the gambling apps were coming to sports gambling in North Carolina, he was totally for it. He's like, yeah, I get it. Everybody wants to do it. It's fine. Let's go. He was like, he was totally cool with it. They can't lay a finger on this guy. They can't touch this guy, and it just kills them. It's the greatest.
And he started out as like what was it, like the
He's Attorney General.
Attorney General. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Here in North Carolina, the on deck circle for governor is Attorney General. I don't know how it worked out that way, but that's what's happened. Like 3-4 times in a row. There it is.
Kind of weird.
Like Mike Easley did it, and then Roy Cooper did it, and then Josh Stein did it, and then hopefully the guy now will also do it. You know, hopefully that's how that's going to work. So I'm Jeff Jackson. Fantastic. Now,
yes.
Jeff Jackson, there's a guy, like if you lost to him, you'd be like, oh, I see how I lost to that guy. Oh, I totally see how I lost to that guy. Like the Republicans go, oh, we're fucked. Jeff Jackson, good-looking guy, no social media, very articulate, has a law degree, is a veteran, has a ridiculously beautiful family. Like absolutely genetic fucking splicing family. If this guy can figure out how to just have sex with his wife, he's going to go straight to the top. The ceiling is massive for Jeff.
Just,
the ceiling,
just that one little thing.
All he's got to do.
Come on, you can do it.
By the way, his wife, you could see, man, you could totally see him sticking with that. If you ever see his wife, you'd be like, that's not bad. All right, Jeff. If you just had to have one the rest of your life, that's a good one. That is an excellent one, Jeff. Good pick.
But you know what, though? You could probably say that about so many dudes that cheat on their wives and about their wives. You know, going, how do you? Yeah, there you go. How do you cheat on that? How do you cheat on that?
Ellen Nordgren's like one of the hottest women in the world. It was okay. But you and I don't know because we don't know if options were available to us the way that they were available to Tiger Woods. You know,
well,
you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, dude, the options are there. Just the numbers, just a little skewed from Tigers. That's all.
Just a little bit. Hangman Page is your winner, and he cuts a promo on Samoa Joe. FTR and Stokely are backstage. They said 11 years ago, FTR formed. Oh, yeah, they cut a promo against Brodito. And it was like, bring your abuela. That shit, when they went off on the abuela, either last week or whenever it was, that was some of the funniest shit. Oh, did you see that? Oh, my God. They went out to her, and they were healing on her so hard, and it was so fucking mean, and it was so great. Oh, it was so good. All right, we're on to Collision. Megan Bain and Marina Shafir versus Haley. It's not TJ? Oh, it is TJ.
TJ.
Oh, that's the one that Nick Dixon Newell didn't want a job to.
Yes, they want a job to TJ in 3 minutes or whatever.
That story has evolved. How are you on it now? Nixon kind of still looks worse, really, than she did last time we talked.
Yeah. I haven't seen a whole lot of change as far as what people's opinion about things. I think that's pretty much the same. That people seem to be on the same page for the most part about who's at fault, I guess, here. But
so how do you play that?
They've got they're pretty much 10 toes down though. What's her name? Miranda? Is that Nixon Newell? Yeah, Miranda Elise or whatever her name is. They seem, they're not backing down. They're standing their ground on it. So,
if you're going to do that, be that on the Indies. Then you need to heal. You need to heal with that on the Indies.
Yeah,
you've got an identity now.
You really don't have a choice at this point, do you?
No, I think that's her identity right now. I mean, I think that's who she is. Before, we didn't really. I just thought, she's this cute girl, and she works okay. Now there's something to go. Just go with that. Yeah. It's been handed to you. That's what you do, right?
Yeah. She's gonna be at WrestleCade too, by the way.
Absolutely. Is she working?
I don't know.
This is our slight bitch. Okay. I know, Tracy, you're not listening because you didn't make it this far in the podcast. I can't believe they're charging extra for the Friday night matches. That was a little disappointing.
I don't get that.
I don't get it. I know there's got to be it's got to be a perfectly good reason. It's got to be perfectly logical. I don't like it.
And here's why I say that. because the Tony Schiavone thing was not added until just maybe what, a couple weeks or so ago.
And it is value added. It's not extra for you if you've got the 3-day pass.
Okay, well then why wouldn't the Friday night event not been? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know. This is what it feels like. You ready? Because this guy Tracy's a car guy. This feels like the clear coating. It feels like you're trying to make me pay extra for the clear coating on the undercarriage or whatever the fuck those guys try to do. That's what that feels like.
Tax tags and title.
Megan Bain and Marina Shafir defeated TJ. The Bang Bang Gang.
You know what? I gotta say, I gotta tell you, man. I'm really getting into Marina Shafir. The more I see her, I'm glad she's coming out of her shell or whatever. You know,
I like her as a worker, but to me, she's still. I think the immediate thing that we did on her was she's a two-face.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Which is fine because she might not even think I'm a one-face, which is fine too. But she's had a good year.
She could think you're a one face, just not the one face that you really want her to think you are.
Correct. No, I think she's had a good year. I think she's done a lot of good stuff under not great circumstances. Trying to get over next to John Moxley is like super not easy. You know.
Well, yeah, I think she made the absolute best of that.
Yeah, I have to say, have they had a program with her and Megan Bain?
No.
Who was it? Somebody slapped Megan on the ass tonight. Oh, it's her. She slapped Megan on the ass.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're buddies. They're tag team partners.
I could replay that many times. That's all right.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Pretty firm too, boy. I don't know what's going on now. Woo!
Megan Bain going to be at WrestleCade.
WrestleCade, she will.
So maybe she'll let you do that.
No, I don't think she will. If she did,
you ask nicely. Maybe if you ask nicely.
Oh, she'd rip my dick. She'd rip my dick off and show it to me.
Rip your dick off.
AEW Continental Champion Okada versus the CML Trios Champion Mascara Dorada in a double Jeopardy match. I assume they're making a big deal out of the CMLL stuff because of the AAA thing with WWE. I assume,
yeah.
Okada wins. He defeats Mascara Dorada with a lot of interference. The Callis family gets a future CMLL Trios match.
Okada going to be at WrestleCade, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Now, I believe this is the first time he's ever been.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. ROH Women's TV Champion Red Velvet versus ROH Women's TV Title Champion Mercedes Moné in a title unification match. Surprisingly, Mercedes Moné wins.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to say this, man. I've been holding off. Please tell me you agree with me on this. When are we going to stop giving belts to Mercedes? What is the end game in this?
I was with you. Yeah. I'm not with
this.
you. I'm not with you, but talk to me 6 months ago. Yes. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. This is going. I'm sorry. We get the joke. We get the joke. I understand. And I understand the concept of something is not funny if you do it 5 times. It's funny if you do it 105 times. Yes, I did see Sideshow Bob step on rakes. I get it. We all get it. Whatever you're doing now, it just doesn't have any meaning. There's no meaning to it.
Yeah, it lost its flavor about 2-3 belts ago, probably.
It's like,
and here's my thing. Okay, how is she going to defend all these belts? How can you defend all these? You can't defend all these belts, man.
Some of these I've never even heard of.
It's stupid. I know.
I'd like if she'll make a shot, I'm sure she could win the AML Women's Championship. I'm sure she would have, but nobody would know what that is.
Why not?
What is that? Jesus.
It's just, I don't know. And here's what's going to happen, man. You tell me. Don't you think that at some point when it runs its course, whenever it runs its course, those belts are just going to disappear. They're just going to go away, except for like the TBS belt and whatever, CMLL belt. I suppose. I don't know. I just don't understand how. Is she just going to start losing them one by one? Each week she loses another belt, or it's just ridiculous. I don't know.
if the payoff, like next year, each week she loses a new belt, then I could go for it. That would be funny.
If that's the case, yes, but that's never going to
That's
happen.
not gonna do that. I think she's okie doking these guys. I'm like, yeah, I'll lose a match. I'll lose a match soon. Don't worry. I think she's totally okie doking these guys.
And you can't tell me that they're going to give her all these belts and never give her the dang AEW title, women's title.
It's weird.
I mean, if that's the whole joke, then okay, I guess. But she'll end up getting it. Yeah.
There's no joke. I mean, it's like
that joke sailed, man. That joke sailed away a long time ago.
Ariel Helwani and Tony Khan. Did you see the big sit down, the kiss and make up?
No, I did not.
It's been more than a year since Tony Khan decided to air footage of a real life backstage altercation involving CM Punk on an episode of AEW Dynamite. And on Tuesday, the AEW owner finally revealed the reasoning behind the controversial decision. Taking part in a wide-ranging interview on the Ariel Helwani show, Khan was asked to explain why he aired the footage featuring the physical confrontation between Punk and Jungle Boy at the All In London pay-per-view in 2023. Doesn't it seem like that happened like 10 years ago?
God almighty, yes.
It seems like that happened like maybe during the first Trump administration or something.
Yes.
It's interesting because I do think that I didn't necessarily agree with the description of how it happened. Khan said, referring to Punk's recollection of the incident. Why don't you just say he lied? Why don't you just say that Punk lied, so that's why I wanted to show the footage? Why can't you just say that, Tony? I got tired of him lying about what happened, so I wanted to show the real story. How many times when that happened back in 2023 did I say, there's footage of everything, they've got cameras everywhere, if this benefited them, they would already have it out? Didn't I say that like a lot during 2023? Yeah. And then eventually they figured out what they needed to do, and I'm sorry, it supports CM Punk. Everything on that fucking tape is exactly what he said it was. Now, I didn't get to see all the shit that happened before then, with obviously the Crimea River and the punching of the windshield and all that stuff. But up until then, everything that he said, he didn't lie about anything. Phil didn't lie about anything. Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame 2025, Bill Brooks. Don't know if you saw that.
Oh, no, I missed that.
He was voted into the Hall of Fame along with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, new members of the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I didn't necessarily agree with everything that was said in that interview about how things happened, but also it's a TV show, and airing the video did a very strong number. And so for these many reasons, it didn't do it. See, this is complete revisionist history. It didn't help you at all. It didn't get a good number. It didn't result in any kind of an angle. And it did nothing. And for so many reasons, I think that made sense. It was a thing that was advertised. It got a lot of attention. It did a very strong number. It's also in the eye of the beholder. You see what he did there? You see what he did there?
Yeah,
I didn't necessarily agree with what was said. Skip. It's in the eye of the beholder. So some things are just objectively true, and then some things are open to interpretation. In like the same paragraph. Weird.
So in other words, nothing has changed. Everything's still exactly the same as far as what people said and know and think and whatever as it was 2 years ago. I mean, what breakthrough did we hear on this interview?
Oh, it's the same. I mean, it's the same shit. It's really the same shit.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Tony wants to be the guy that talks about everything, but if you bring up something uncomfortable, I don't want to talk about that. And you can't do that. You either talk about everything or you hide behind the scenes, and you don't do interviews the way Vince McMahon did. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You're either completely forthcoming or you shut the fuck up. But he wants to be, he wants to be the man. He wants to be the boy. Why? I don't understand. Like, why does your big star in AEW not sit down for this interview? Isn't that more important? Wouldn't that be the person to promote your big pay-per-view coming up this weekend? Wouldn't your champion, for example, Hangman Page, wouldn't your champion, Mercedes Moné, wouldn't that be the person who can sit down with Ariel Helwani and promote your big pay-per-view coming up this weekend? It's just a thought. I'm just thinking. This isn't the first
Might
time.
need somebody to promote it because it seems to be the most underwhelming PLE so far this year to me.
Yeah, it's in a weird spot because it's the week before Thanksgiving, and this is the time of the year when every sport is going on: college basketball, NBA, college football, NFL, hockey. Everything's happening right now, right?
Right.
This is the first time Khan has pointed to the rating for the April 10th, 2024 episode of AEW Dynamite as a defense for airing the footage. But while the singular episode may have done a strong number, one could also argue, says Awful Announcing, that the larger trends indicate it was a turnoff for the portion of the AEW fan base. Just as Khan said, whether airing the footage was worth it, ultimately subjective. Either way, it was refreshing to hear the pro wrestling executive address the controversy directly in what marked one of his more insightful interviews to date. Ariel is a very good interview. I would consider him to be equal to me with Chris Van Vliet. It's a different kind of interview style. Ariel is going to be a little more confrontational and a little more controversial. But I think Chris Van Vliet does a very good job doing what he does as well.
Yeah, Van Vliet's more folksy.
And I'll say also, I really think Denise Salcedo does a great job too. I think she does a very good job with her content. And
I haven't seen her a whole lot.
She's great. She does a lot of stuff on Instagram. I think she does a lot of good stuff. And I don't know if she really gets the credit she deserves because she does. And she does a lot of the watch along stuff, the way that Wheezy Blonde does and stuff like that.
Okay.
For me, I don't know if anybody does the watch along stuff better than Lexi does. I think Lex does that better than anybody to me.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, she seems like somebody that, that would be sitting down next to you on the couch, hanging out, watching it with you, reaction wise and that sort of thing.
We did a lot of AEW this time. Any thoughts on WWE? Yeah. Obviously, we had Zack Ryder at SmackDown. We had Nick Nemeth as Dolph Ziggler coming back on Monday Night Raw.
Both those guys want to be at WrestleCade, by the way.
Absolutely, and they're going to be working. I think. I know Nick is going to be. Nick's working.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Cardona comes every year. Cardona is amazing. Cardona is the one I saw in the bathroom on Friday night at the show, and I said, "You've been here before, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've been here before." You know that this is the best this bathroom is going to be all weekend. This is the height.
Enjoy it.
It's all, and God bless the custodial staff at the Benton Convention Center. Just God bless you with the Neanderthals that are just going to be knuckle dragging through that place for an entire weekend.
For an entire weekend.
I don't know how much they're paying. It doesn't matter what they're paying you. It's not enough. It's is not enough. We should get together and we should tip those people if we see those guys, because the stuff that they're going to see, there are crime scene investigators that will have an easier weekend than the custodial staff at the Benton Convention Center.
Just from what the experience or two that I've had going into the bathroom, it's just the whole Ricky Morton experience. Yes. I mean, that alone.
Wasn't Ricky like yelling at his asshole or his stomach or something for betraying him?
Well, sorta. He was in the stall. He was doing his thing, and somebody was giving him shit, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he was just yelling back at him like he was right in their face, not giving, like just talking to him like, I'm talking to you right now, except he was pants on ankles,
I'm gonna tell you right now, I sold this motherfucker out. I sold this bathroom stall out.
I'll tell you what, you porcelain toilet, you in trouble now. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Fans, we're out of time. Oh, yeah. We'll see you next week, fans. So long for now.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Hey, you're kind of surprised that Levesque wasn't up there at the White House to slap the back of MBS like, yeah, hey, how are you?
Yeah, why not? Why? Yeah, why wouldn't he have been? Why was he not there?
Thanks for the billions of dollars, man. Be nice. It'd be nice if they invited Trump over to Saudi Arabia for that WrestleMania.
They probably did. We just don't know it.
If he's going to be still with us when that happens.
we can only hope.
Surely you've seen the guy on Instagram who's like got a PhD in something. Anyway, he deals with a lot of geriatric patients, and he talks about the expressive aphasia and how Trump's totally got dementia, and he thinks he's only got like maybe 6 months left to live.
Really?
Have you seen that guy?
No.
Yeah, he'll go through like regular days, like, oh, this what he's doing here is expressive aphasia, and this is like he can't remember this name, and and here he is walking, and he can't, this is totally. I deal with geriatric patients all the time. I've got a PhD in my field, and
Okay.
yeah, 6 months.
Well, we'll I'll be marking the calendar here. 6 months.
I wonder if JD Vance would bang Erica Kirk in the Lincoln bedroom. That'd be pretty wild, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd just be par for the course, man.
That'd be pretty wild. Yeah. Any other closing thoughts?
As long as there's a couch in there, I guess.
Why do we always have to fuck on the couch? No reason. It's like couches.
Shut up! I like couches.
Why is your campaign kickoff event at Lazy Boy? I don't get it.
Because I love Lazy Boy. Shut up.
Decorating's easy at Rooms to Go, JD. That's what I understand. Any other closing thoughts on another award-winning episode of Katie Vick is Alive?
Oh, I'm so looking forward to WrestleCade like I do every year. It's hard to believe it's already coming up here in about a week.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you are the custodial staff at the Benton Convention Center.
Again, yes.
Those guys should have all the Mercedes Moné belts, for sure.
Yes. If anybody should have all the belts, it should be the custodial folks at the Benton Convention Center, for sure.
Hell of a job. Bryant, available for your social media pleasure. It's going to be Dad of Stanley on Instagram and also on Threads. It is Stanley Jackson 23 on TikTok and on Blue Sky. They're the twos. THEYRETHETWOS. I am at Real Britt Whitmire on Instagram and also on Threads, and on Blue Sky it is BRITTWHITMIRE.bsky.social. As always, we appreciate your support. Till next time, fans, we'll see you ringside. Stop streaming and stop recording.